morning everyone. This is Shivani Agarwal. Today I am here for presenting the lecture on the topic of software design. This is the topic of software engineering unit 3rd. So basically I focused what is software design. It is a design for creative. We have to create anything, then the analysis part. So we have to emphasize that how we have to develop the design. So that document known as a software design document. This is solve the problem activities by using the design following. Now, the software design is a design that we have to divide into the high level or the low level designs. Now, this is the basic design of the software. This is the basic process. So, first we have to initialize the requirements by the SRS. Then we have to by using the initial requirement, we have to gather the data on that particular requirements. Then we have to analyze the requirements on the defined data or gathering data. After that, we have to obtain the answers to the requirement questions. Then we have to create the high level design, then refinement of designs. If the refinement is complete, then we have to validate the design. This process we have to go time to time. So, this is the complete software design process. Now, as we say that the design satisfied on only the two main members, these are the customers and the developers. If anyone is dissatisfied for the design, then we have to define the design according to the design process, because if the requirements are not validate, so that design is not able to do for the implementation part, because either the customer or the developer is not agree for that particular design. So, this is the software design basic concept. Now, there are the two types of basic design architectures, conceptual designs and the technical design. In the conceptual design, we have to always focus what we have to design, what the raw materials we have to use for design. So, that conceptual design completely dependent on the customer part, because these are the two basic process of the designs. Now, how? How means we have to focus on the technicality of the designs. That completely focus the SDD, software design development. In the technical design, we have to focus how much time we have to do for this design, how much cost we have to do for this design, how many people are involved for process these designs, how many time we have to use for validate the design. So, this is the technical design. Now, the next, these are the answers that we have to cover in the conceptual design. Where will the data come from? What will happen to the data in the system? How will the system look like to the users, in front of the users, how the system look like? This is completely dependent on the user point of view. Now, what choices will be offered to the users? What type of choices the users want? What is the timings of event? Each and every event we have to define the times. Now, how will the report and the screen look like at what the user want? So, this is completely depend on the reports and the screen time. Now, I already explained the technical design requirements and what will we have to focus on the technical design type, because this is focused on how. So, in this we have to define the hardware configuration, software needs, communication interface, input output of the system, software architecture, network architecture, and the things that we have to use for solving the problem statements of the customer. So, these all the things we have to describe in the technical design. Now, the next, the basic definition of the design. Basically, the design is a process. This is very raw definition of the software design. It is a process to transform the user requirement into the suitable form. This is a pictorial formations or the diagrammatic form, so that the user or the programmer efficiently define the process that we have to use for implementing the basic requirements of the user in the implementation phase. So, this is the basic definition of the design. This is the process. Basically, this is the process to transform the user requirement into some suitable form. In that graphical formation, we have to visualize these all the requirement that the user want in the graphical formation, so that the developer easily know about what type of design, what type of things the user want. So in the software design, the design document is produced because it is the SDD document from the SRS document. So in this, we have to produce the SDD document. The main aim of the design is we have to transform the user requirement in the graphical formation, so that we have to easily find out that how we have to process these requirements into the implementation. So this is the basic formation of design. Now, the following items are designed and documented during the design phase. These are different modules required. Suppose we have to take the example of a single project. This is the college ERP. So there are the many modules that are present in the college ERP. So these modules are like a library management system, timetable management system, registrar, HR, accounts. These all are the modules. So in the different modules, we require the different designs, and how much time we have to require for developing each and every module. So these all the things we have to find and identify at the time of the design phase. Now the second thing is the control relationship among the modules. Each and every module is dependent on any other module. So we have to find the control relationship between the modules and the interface among the different modules, data structures among the different modules, and the algorithms. Those are required to implement the individual module, because each and every module are lowly coupled or the highly coupled, and what is coupling I explained in the further lecture. So this is the basic items that we have to required during the design phase. Now, the basic concept of design, that is, it is a principle or the idea for designing that how we have to solve the problems in the logical diagrammatic form. So this is the basic formation of the design. Now, this is the concept that we have to use for designing the software. In this concept, we have to define the abstraction, refactoring, pattern, information hiding, refinements, architecture, and modularity. One of the most important character of the software design concept is the modularity. So modularity is a very defined thing that we have to use for the different modules that we have to design for developing a software. So one by one we have to explain like that. What is abstraction? That means we hide something. So abstraction means simply hide the details to reduce the complexity and increase the efficiency of the software, or we have to emphasize the quality of the software. So different levels of abstractions are there. So we have to define or we have to minimize the errors. So we have to remove the error and increase the efficiency of the software solutions, or we have to define the refinement in the software solution, so it gives the better results. So this is the abstraction of the software design. Now the modularity concept. Basically, modularity means we have to divide the software into different modules, and this modularity reduce the complexity of the system. So that how we have to reduce the complexity of the system, because that complexity reduce in the number of small modules. So we have to when we have to implement the big module, so this is highly difficult as compared to the small modules. So modularity gives the concept that we have to divide the big system into the small number of modules. So modularity in the design means to subdivide a system in the smaller parts, so that these parts can be created independently and that use in the different system to solve the different problems. So this is the basic necessity of the modularity. So this is a very important thing in the software design, that we have to design the module of the software in a modularity by using the modularity concept. So we have emphasized the quality or enhance the quality of the system. Now the next is the architecture of the design. That means it is a very simple way that we have to design the software in a concept that we have to define the various elements and the data structure of the software. So each and every component interact with each other, and use of the data in the architecture part. Now the next thing is the refinement. Refinement means we have to remove the impurities of the system. It means we have to refine something. That means we have to remove the errors, remove the things that decrease the quality of the software, remove the logical errors, remove the remove the hardware errors. These all the things we have to remove so that the system comes in the refined version. So this is the very necessary thing to find out any error that is present in the program, and that also reduce the quality of the software. So this is the refinement process. So in this we have to improve the quality of the software. Now the next is a pattern. Pattern means a repetitive format. Which format we have to use for the design purpose? Which type of things we have to use in the system for defining the good things in the project. So these are the things we have to define as a pattern format. Now the next is the information heading, that is hiding the information that I already explained. Now the refactoring. What is refactoring? Refactoring means we have to reconstruct something. We have to define the things that in a not a normal way, not a usual way. It is reduce the complexity of the software. It gives the effective results in the software design. So that design is completely outstanding in front of the users. So the behavior of the user for that particular design is very highly observed. So this is the refactoring. Now the levels of design. We have the 3 levels of design: architectural design, high level design, and the detailed design. So what is the architectural design? Architectural design means it identifies a software as a system with how many components we interact with each other. There are the number of components that those are interact with each other, and how we have to provide the conceptual integrity of the system. So that shows the architectural design. Now the next is the high level design. High level design means the problem is decomposed into the set of modules, small set of modules, and each and every module have the control relationship. So that shows the interface between the modules and how we have to identify that which module is highly related with the another module. So this is the high level design. The outcome of this stage is called the program architecture. That completely shows the structure chart and the UML diagram. Now the detailed design. Detail means we have to completely show the diagram, that how we have to connected the each and every component of the design. So that shows the complete data structure and the algorithm in the documentary form, or it shows the final outcome. So this is the detailed design. So these are all the definitions that we have to define, that the modular system manage all the units and each and every unit interface with each other. So that is a compact version of the design. Now the basic properties of design are: it is a well-defined subsystem, it is used for a defined purpose, it is separately compiled each and every module, and each and every module dependent on the other modules. Module should be easier to use, and each and every one define a simpler concept that we have to define with the another refinement of the design. Now that I already explained that what is the modularity, but in this we have to define the everything that is defined in the modularity. So modularity means we have to divide the system into the small subsystems, and that shows the enhanced design clarity that turn the easy way in the implementation, debugging, documentation, and the testing part. So we have to improve the designed way that is useful for the implementation purpose. Now this is the concept of the coupling and the cohesion. So in this lecture I only define what is coupling and what is cohesion. In the next lecture we have to define the types of coupling and the types of cohesion. So what is coupling and cohesion? Coupling means we have to couple something. That means the interdependency between the modules. In this diagram we have to show the 4 modules A, B, C, D. This is the A, B, C, D. These 4 modules are completely uncoupled. So, that means the degree of dependency is completely 0 in this particular module. We always thought that, or we always recommend that if the program has low coupling and high cohesion, so that program gives the better results. So, this is the 0 coupling. In this diagram shows the 0 coupling. Now, the loosely coupled and the highly coupled. Loosely coupled means that some modules are dependent with other modules, but that is not the completely dependent with the each and every module. So, that is the lowly coupled. Lowly coupled means each and every module is not completely dependent with the another module, like as the highly coupled diagram. In this, each and every module has dependent on the another module. There is not that is not shown the dependency like as the loosely coupled module, because in this loosely coupled, the modules dependency are minimum as compared to the highly coupled. So, this is very understanding that if we design something or we have to implement something the software, so we always prefer that we use the loosely coupled or the low coupling. So, this is the coupling. Now, some parameters that we already defined in our mind, that control number of parameters we have to pass amongst the module, avoid the undesired data to the calling modules. So, the relationships of the modules are very easily understood. Maintain always the parent and child relationship between the calling and the called modules. That is the procedure of the stubborn drivers in the unit testing. I defined in this way in the unit number 4, and we have to pass the data in the control information. So, these are the coupling. Now, types of coupling we have to explain in the next lecture. Now, the cohesion. Cohesion means the degree of dependency between the modules. That totally depend on the one module strength, that not shows the interdependency between the modules. That shows the highly cohesion formula in the design purpose. If it is highly cohesive, that means the design structure is highly understandable, because that is not dependent on the another module. That shows the degree of dependency or the strength of the association of the elements within the modules, not between the modules. So, these are the things that we have to define in this particular lecture. Thank you so much.